to journey with you all back to the first day of school at Bancroft, 13 months ago. We sat in the fluorescent lighting of our first business class, surrounded by a sea of binders detailing classroom policy and school curriculum, staring at Greg, our business instructor, bewildered as he asked us to find a partner and massage their shoulders for 10 minutes. Greg smiled knowingly at our obvious discomfort when he made this request and assured us that in no time, massaging one another would be entirely comfortable. I remember nodding incredulously at Greg when he said that, unable in that moment to imagine what seemed like such a distant possibility. And yet we awkwardly fumbled through those 10 minutes, vaguely attempting to follow Greg's suggestions and encouragements, gamely making small talk with one another as we awkwardly fumbled through the newness of it all, and all the meantime wondering how 10 minutes could possibly go by so slowly. To me, Tyler's shoulders felt like an impossible structure to approach. I had no idea what to do, where to go, how to go, and the nerves felt consuming. But somehow the 10 minutes passed. The whirling of my brain began to still, and I felt myself ever so slightly begin a dance across Tyler's upper back. And when the roles reversed and I felt his work, I remember feeling a similar dynamic, the halting approach, which slowly melted into a wary sort of fluidity, and I noticed we were both transported along that journey from inertia to movement. The giving and the receiving of massage, even on that first day, even in that most basic of exercises, is always woven together. We have been supported throughout our journey by the deep and wide network of staff, instructors, and administrators at Bancroft. So too have we been held by our loved ones, many of whom are with us tonight. We could not have taken this journey without the wisdom and the support that you offered us. And we traversed the path as a class community, and we held one another through the fumblings, the misplaced depths, the overuse injuries, the anxiety about our practical evaluations. And we cheered one another through the myriad victories, big and small. Masterful execution of a troublesome massage stroke, overcoming fear of working on particular areas of the body, a stellar massage treatment, or a well-placed joke that sent the room into laughter. Learning to keep ourselves and one another feeling safe, supported, and centered while receiving and giving massage is, in my opinion, perhaps the most significant and consistent learning that Bancroft has offered us. And more than a learning, I would contend that this knowledge is a profound gift. For a deep meditative listening to the wisdom of the body may be something that many of us will never experience truly in our lives. To lose oneself in the ocean of blood, bone, and muscle that envelops and constructs a human body is itself a medicine, and it is also a magic. This knowledge of the body is a medicine in a broader culture that struggles bitterly with issues surrounding touch and consent. Massage and bodywork as non-sexual forms of therapeutic touch are uniquely poised to support the blossoming societal project of reimagining our relationship to all forms of touch. By creating spaces in which people can lose themselves in the depths of their bodies without fear or trauma, we will be offering deep and potent medicine to our clients. Whether or not you explicitly see yourself working with survivors of embodied trauma, know that this is one of the offerings that you will be bringing simply by cultivating a container through which the body can be heard. We as massage therapists have been studying the intricate and fragile language of the body for the past 13 months, and it still feels as though we are just approaching the surface of its complex grammar. I've come to believe that part of our work is translating that unruly language so that our clients and communities can begin to unearth the mysteries and knowings that live in the rhythmic flow beneath the surface of the skin. Losing oneself in this ocean of blood, bone, and muscle is not just medicine, but also magic. What I mean by magic is that which has the capacity to transform and to be transformed. Magic, then, is the meeting of receiving and giving. So too is massage a congregation of receptivity and activity on the part of the therapist and the client. In one strand of Jewish mysticism, the mystics imagined an alternative creation story to the ones found in Genesis. In the beginning, they imagined only the unending, undifferentiated light of holiness. The Holy One, in order to make space for the world to be born, contracts. And as the Holy One contracts, the light begins to shatter and convulse. And eventually, the fragments form the world. Holiness, then, in this tradition, resides in every fiber of every being. So we are infused with divinity through and through. The mystics taught that everything in the world happens as an echo of that primordial contraction that gives way to expansion. One of the names for God in Hebrew refers to this primordial contraction, Sim Semai, meaning the one who makes space. I wish to suggest that this dialogue between contractive and expansive energies itself generates a sort of magic, a naming of God. When we massage, we enact this magic, this naming as well. We at times induce muscle contractions in order to elongate the tissues or break up adhesions. We also enact a sort of contraction and expansion in how we interact with our clients. In order to enter that meditative space with their body, we must make ourselves, our concerns, anxieties, egos, a little bit smaller so that we can truly hear how and what the client and their tissues are saying. By dropping deeply into this elevated presence with another being, we are not only slightly contracted, but also slightly expanded. We are elevated by the act of being in such intimate, yet wholly boundaried encounter with another person. Massage is a medicine, and it is a magic. One of my favorite poets, Nayyirah Waheed, was once asked what love looks like. She replied, "Like everything I've ever lost, come back to me." As I reflect on this past year of massage training, I have found the journey to be just this sort of love story, a love story of return and of renewal. There has been the journey of falling back in love with the magic medicine of my body and beginning to speak in my native tongue. This is a love story of receiving, finding, and generating divinity in the church of muscle, blood, and bone that pulses within each of us. This is a love story of singing the locked doors of tension and trauma back into trees whose spines arch towards the sky. This is a love story where all that has been lost in the tumult of our lives comes back to us through the mystical, magnificent, meditative whispers of the body. And now, I wish to conclude my remarks with a blessing for my classmates. May we be transformed as massage therapists by the contractions and by the expansions, by the giving and by the receiving, and most of all, may we fall deeply, irrevocably in love with the prayers and poetries of the body, with the aching beauty that vibrates in every cell of us all. Thank you so much. I'd now like to introduce our